a technology enthusiast, the host of Talking Tech BBTV and podcast. I'm constantly looking for the latest developments, trying to understand things like artificial intelligence, glued to BBC's Click program. In fact, I think my eyes are turning screen-shaped. But even then, I cannot keep pace with technology changes, and tech and digital changes is what we're all facing from now onwards. So how do businesses manage such change? And how do you stay ahead of the curve and be fit for the future? Well, it's time to ask the company who many would regard as the global leader in digital transformation. And that company is ATOS. So let me introduce you to their Global Vice President of Marketing, Financial Service and Insurance, Catherine Dutton. Hello, Catherine.
Hi, Malcolm.
Lovely to talk to you. So give us a brief overview of ATOS, its size and its activity.
Sure, no problems. And thanks very much as well for inviting me to today's session. Very much looking forward to it. So ATOS is a global leader in digital transformation. We have about 110,000 employees worldwide across 73 countries. Annual revenue, just to give you a bit of a view on size, is about 12 billion euros. We're also the #1 in cloud, cybersecurity and high performance computing across Europe. The group overall provides end-to-end orchestrated hybrid cloud, big data, business applications and digital workplace solutions. One of the really cool things about our organisation as well is that we're the worldwide information technology partner for the Olympic and Paralympic Games. It's a relationship that we've actually had now for nearly 20 years. And I guess just in terms of a bit of a pitch, because everyone always loves to do this, I think the purpose of ATOS really is to help design the future of the information space. And across the world, we really enable our customers, employees and members of society to really live, work and develop sustainably in a safe and what we like to call a secure information space as well.
Yeah, I take the point about secure. I saw a point this week that by 2021, it will be $6 trillion a year in cybersecurity, cybercrime,
Wow.
which is fantastic.
Wow.
It's a much bandied phrase, but what does digital transformation truly mean? Surely it's more than using a computer in your business.
Yeah, absolutely. For us in ATOS, it's really about bringing that technology, people and processes together across a business. And that really enables those organisations then to be truly customer centric and more agile in approach and definitely more efficient. I think as well, sometimes it can be deemed to be a negative thing, but actually it's a real opportunity. And it also doesn't have to be around creating new processes. It can be about modifying existing ones that were non-digital before. It can be around creating new ones, as I've said. It can be around creating new ways of working for people, and very much as well, I think, really adapting the culture to allow those organisations to really respond to kind of business and market requirements. So in effect, it's not just digital transformation, but it's about that business transformation as well, and not forgetting about those people at the core of the business.
Yeah, got it.
I guess just to give you an example as well of one of the organisations we work with is a company called Aegon, which is a real large financial services provider that specialises in pensions and investments and insurance. And we've worked together with Aegon to migrate their operations and IT, but it's been very much around really creating that inclusive culture and providing those customer experiences processes to really support the people. And one of the really great things that we've done is we've got a joint customer experience academy in place, which is fully accredited by the University of Ulster. And that really helps to embed that continuous learning as part of a key part of everyday working with Aegon employees. So it's really about that cultural change and adapting processes as much as it is about focusing on the technology.
I was intrigued looking at your website with your future ready branding. What does that mean and how do you deliver it?
Yeah, so Future Ready really focuses on our response to post-COVID-19 in terms of the different challenges and scenarios that people would face. So it's really about thinking and acting now to enable organisations to be as ready as they can be for the future. So it brings together real-world examples of how organisations can become ready for the future. So just to give an example, I guess in terms of manufacturing, we have something called additive manufacturing, which really provides a solution to help organisations in-source the making of parts and components, and therefore it gives them the flexibility in their supply chain processes.
Excellent. So how does ATOS believe the COVID-19 crisis will have changed the culture of business for the future? Will remote working be the norm, or will there be maybe a halfway hybrid house?
Yeah, we've actually just published some new thought leadership around this through our internal scientific community called Journey 2024, which really explores how ways of working will be in the future. I think in terms of workplace, yeah, absolutely, remote working is going to be the new social norm. I think we've already experienced this anyway at kind of breakneck speed, that it can be done, the technology is available. Workers have quickly learned as well how to work and how to meet virtually and collaborate. I think as well, though, we'll also see organisations move more towards having kind of contactless offices. So a real focus is on creating those safe and healthy workplaces, and technology can really enable that to happen. I think the other thing we'll see as well is that workplaces will be repurposed. So offices won't just be that place to go to work, but they'll be more creative and be more of those collaboration spaces for people. And I think there's other things that companies need to think about as well, particularly around cyber security. It's not just around remote working, but all the things that kind of go with that as well.
I've just learned a new word this week. It's called normallessness. There's plenty of it around at the moment. But what new skills and products do you think businesses need to adopt to help them meet the new normal? And how do you help them?
Yeah, I think certainly during the pandemic, we've really witnessed some businesses that have been really quick to repurpose their capabilities to respond to the crisis. But we've also found some that haven't been able to respond as quickly. And I think areas that, and skills that people really need to start thinking about, and areas, you call them products, but kind of areas that people really need to start thinking about that we can support with are around particularly redesigning supply chains and value ecosystems to really respond. Thinking about data privacy regulations as well, which absolutely goes in hand with having robust cybersecurity strategies in place. It's about thinking about those new business partnership models and really having those right technologies in place to enable people to collaborate with each other. And I think also, I know we've talked about remote working, but it's things like deployment of artificial intelligence and knowledge management, and really having those solutions in place to support those home workers. And I think there's also that adoption of brand new technologies as well, and business automation to really boost that flexibility and agility.
Excellent. I'm fascinated by your future element. What is your quantum learning machine, and what's its benefit to the average business?
Sure. I'm going to open up now that I'm not an expert in this area, Malcolm, but I can give you an overview.
Yeah.
So our ATOS quantum learning machine is a complete kind of on-premise environment that's really designed for quantum software developers. What that really means in simple terms is that it allows researchers and engineers and also students to develop an experiment with that different software. And it provides the ability to really process a huge amount of data that you wouldn't normally be able to do. It's something that we're really excited about as an organisation. And we know that our capabilities and performances in this area are really unmatched in the market. So it's a really exciting time for us. You also have to think about benefits. So I guess the benefit really to businesses is that it can solve really deep and complex kind of problems that they have in a short amount of time. So it really has a massive potential to impact businesses positively in the near future.
Excellent. Yeah. Look, cybersecurity, GDPR, phishing, DDoS are all terms becoming part of the everyday language of business.
Mhm.
How does Atos go about reassuring customers that it's got the back of its customers in these elements where obviously reassurance is paramount?
Yeah, I'd firstly say, we're a global leader in cybersecurity, and I mentioned earlier we're number one in Europe as a provider. So it's something that we take extremely seriously with our customers. We actually use a framework approach called prescriptive security, which uses artificial intelligence and automation to really reduce that mean time to detection of a potential kind of attack that might be taking place. It really helps to free up security analyst time as well. So people can focus more on that investigation side and containing and eradicating things that might be a threat as part of their overall processes. And we do protect some of the largest organisations worldwide, which also gives people reassurance. I'd say one of the most recent things actually in the last couple of weeks that I've seen is that our Chief Cybersecurity Officer, Paul, he's actually going out and speaking to customers on a regular basis to really kind of promote what we're about and how we can support, and also answer any questions that customers have, just to give that extra level of reassurance as well, particularly in the times that we're in at the moment.
Here at BizVision, we're saying don't just bounce back, instead bounce ahead. As your post-COVID strategy. By this we mean explore new markets, seek new opportunities, communicate more visibly. What does Atos do that would help companies achieve this bounce ahead and do it quickly and productively?
Yeah, sure. I think I've talked quite a bit about our approach of how we really work with customers and technologies that they can adopt. But it's really thinking about that future view as much as possible and really assessing the business and IT landscape to work through what needs to be put in place. I think we have some fantastic consulting capabilities internally as well. We've got over 1,800 consultants worldwide who can really provide that design and strategy and deployment support as well, which I think would be a great sort of first step for any business looking to achieve that bounce ahead approach, as you call it.
Excellent. Yeah. Now let's talk about your job. You're head of global marketing in a world that is changing fast. How do you, with your Atos hat on, keep ahead of that curve in such a changing world?
Yeah, definitely, it's correct. So, yeah, as you said, I lead global marketing for our financial services and insurance industry in Atos, which is one of our 6 vertical go-to-market industries. I've also just returned to business from mat leave as well. So I think with COVID-19, the world is definitely changing fast externally, but also internally within my own household. But there's a few things that I really do make time for in my working day, which really helps with future thinking, which I'm really precious about making time for. And that first thing is spending time with customers and prospects, and whether that's speaking with them on the phone directly or through webinars or any other means that you've got, it's really important to understand what our customers are experiencing. And that really helps to make sure that our marketing's on point and that, we're really looking at what can we do to really support those customers going ahead. I think the second thing that I do as well is it's seeking out those best practice and examples from elsewhere. So each year I spend quite a bit of time judging different award entries across both B2B organisations, but also B2C. And that gives me great ideas.
Both of us, our discipline is marketing, but marketing could be seen to be moving from being an art to a science, with monitoring and measurement much more accurate these days. How do you employ such thinking at your firm, and what KPIs of marketing do you personally like to deep dive into?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big believer that marketing drives a business, and that we're here to support the business growth and drive that business growth. And with that, I've deployed metrics across our marketing that are really business focused. So very much our impact on market share, on revenue, new deals closed as well that we measure against, pipeline that we've supported, and also new pipeline that we've created. And I don't just mean leads, as people call it, but real kind of qualified pipeline. And as far as I'm concerned, the more data analytics that we have, the better. So we can really work out what our marketing's doing for us, where it's working, where it could be tweaked, and actually where we should stop doing things that aren't working. And I think just taking on this new role within ATOS in the last 5 weeks, we've just started working through our marketing dashboards, but they're all automated through our CRM system. So we're adapting metrics against what we really want to be measured against, which is brilliant. And I think the more automation that people can do on that, the better, because it gives you that real-time information.
Excellent, yeah. Now, I'm sorry, but this year it's unlikely you'll be able to take your son to pantomime, but it's fairy godmother time, and I've got 3 wishes for you. Okay. What are your 3 wishes for the future digital transformation in businesses?
Okay. Yeah, I think people need to be braver. I think sometimes people associate digital transformation with just kind of large scale infrastructure or projects, which really puts them off from looking at it. But actually that's not the case. You can start with a small point solution or a proof of concept on, it might be one process that actually can really impact your organization positively. So definitely for people to be braver. I think second one is that, digital transformation becomes a natural part of people's businesses and isn't considered as a separate thing. And then I think thirdly, that everyone looks at digital transformation regardless of role, because it's not just the IT side of the business. It can be done everywhere, and we're currently experiencing it within marketing as well. So definitely that everyone starts to think about digital transformation.
Brilliant. I just knew that when we were going to get together for this interview that it would be fascinating. It certainly has been. Catherine Dutton of ATOS, and you see the URL behind me, everybody, to go and have a further look at how you can achieve that great digital transformation. Thanks, Kat.
Brilliant. Thanks, Malcolm.